On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we are going to talk about Section 31, Strange New Worlds, the new trailer, updates on Legacy, and your Picard 310 feedback right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, the podcast where you get to listen in on two lifelong friends sit in their car and talk about Star Trek.
Hey.
You listeners may notice a difference in today's episode. We normally sit in our little home studios talking on Zoom.
Yeah.
And studios is a grandiose word for what it is. It's just
yeah.
two microphones in front of computers. But today we're in a weird place because me and Dave had to get together to do this video job.
Uh-huh.
And afterwards, we just came out to the car, and we're recording right here in the car.
Yep.
But maybe you don't notice, and this is all useless jibber-jabber, but just wanted to give you a heads up. Show normally sounds probably better. Maybe this is better. Who knows?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
What is better, what I do love about this, we're in the same space.
We are.
We get to, respond in real time.
Uh-huh.
None of that Zoom lag stuff.
Right.
I like it.
So you can look at me and tell them that I'm not Stu.
Yeah. I can neither confirm nor deny if you're Stu or not.
Damn you.
So, Strange New Worlds, there's a trailer.
Yeah, there is. Actually, I wanted to bring this up first. Paramount announced they have greenlit Section 31, starring Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
And it is a movie, and it'll be a special original movie. They're describing it as Mission Impossible meets Guardians of the Galaxy, and the plan is for Paramount Plus to do a Star Trek movie every 2 years. And Section 31 is set to go into production later this year.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of confirmed a few weeks ago when we got that poster for it or whatever.
Oh, did we already talk about that? Because I couldn't find it in any of the show notes.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we did. Maybe we didn't.
Yeah, I don't think we actually talked about it. But maybe...
I'm sorry. We talked about it on Multiverse News, I think.
Yeah, okay.
And so my brain was like, I've talked about this before. But no. I think we had a chance on the last Picard episode, but we were far too excited,
right,
to talk about anything but the Picard.
Yeah,
episode.
I wanted to weep about Data things.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm down for this. I'm excited about this. I like Michelle Yeoh. I like the character she's currently portraying, and I'm happy that Section 31 is not going to be a series. I'd rather it be a movie, I guess. I
don't know. I definitely. I've always wanted a Section 31 series, so it's hard for me to say I don't want it. But I'm happy with this, and the idea of getting a movie every 2 years is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I really like that idea. It's almost like they're doing an anthology show, but they're just doing just a stray movie every couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, it's just neat to be able to expand the universe in those ways. We often talk about how, in the age of streaming, it's neat that there are no boundaries on time. You don't have to be 42 minutes anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And sort of the same thing when you get these movies, it's just throw a movie out there. It doesn't have to fit a vibe. It doesn't have to be a part of a saga or a series. It's just it's just in the universe. It's just a little movie here.
Yeah. And
I dig it.
I think there could be, they could do a lot with this format. They could do a lot with, just doing movies every couple of years. And I know Kurtzman has talked about doing movies and or very niche character-based miniseries.
Yeah.
That wouldn't fit into an overall series. So I'm down for this. And Mission Impossible meets Guardians of the Galaxy sounds really cool.
For sure.
Also sounds like something they couldn't keep up with on a series basis.
Yeah, well, I'm wondering if that sounds so cool. I'm wondering if they can keep up with it on a movie basis. We'll see. That's such a.
I mean, we know they don't have Marvel money.
Well, yeah, exactly. They don't have Marvel money. We just watched Guardians of the Galaxy last night for our commentary track on MCU Cast, and man, that movie's good.
It is
something that I just thought a lot about while we were watching it, and we talked about on the Patreon was just how
the Patreon.
Oh yeah, it was a Patreon exclusive. I just didn't want people to think they could just go over to our feed because it's Patreon exclusive.
No, I know. I understand the need to qualify it.
But one of the things we talked about was the fact that like James Gunn, every frame of that movie is not wasted. You know, like
Right.
that he's constantly building something, setting something up, or paying something off with like every moment of that movie. So many interesting creative decisions are happening constantly, and it just like really makes me happy. The whole movie makes me so happy, and it like got me so excited to watch part 3 in a
Mhm.
few weeks. But anyway, my point is, a Section 31 show could be wonderful,
Yeah.
but you gotta to be Guardians of the Galaxy meets Mission Impossible. You need a really visionary director to like really
Yeah.
push that vision and drive it home. And it will see who's directing it.
I
Did it
think
say?
I think I saw that it was Olatunde Osunsami, who is a director that we've praised numerous times for his work on Discovery.
Okay, cool,
We've always liked his stuff, so I'm pretty sure that's who they said it was.
cool.
Uh,
I don't remember what he's done, but I believe you.
We've got the Strange New Worlds trailer, as you mentioned.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to talk about it first because I just watched it while it was fresh.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't even remember it now.
Yeah,
It's
you
been
do.
a full 10 minutes, Dave. You gave me 10 minutes of a Section 31 talk before I had to like
I know.
remember what this other trailer's about.
It's the way I throw you off your game so I sound smarter.
So rigid all the time. Yeah, I liked this trailer. What'd you think?
I okay. First of all, I loved the cover of Such Great Heights by the Postal Service.
Wait, is it a cover or just a reimagining?
I
think it's
don't know.
I think it's the Postal Service, isn't it?
Did they slow it down? Is it the Postal Service for sure? It didn't sound.
I thought it was the Postal Service with different. I'll have to go back and listen. Honestly, I
Yeah,
had it
I
in my
didn't-
head that it was the Postal Service with different production behind it.
Okay.
Like more cinematic sounding production, but it might have just been a completely different singer, and I'm just
Yeah.
spacing. But yeah, no, of course, that's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Since I was, those like songs you love when you're 17 and you'll never stop loving them, because that's how humans work.
Okay.
I don't know. There's like everyone loves the music of when they were like 18 or 19, 20, like that era,
Yeah.
and they get kind of stuck or whatever.
Yeah.
That's my stuck era. Like I am stuck in like Postal Service and Death Cab for Cutie,
Right.
and so them putting that on a Star Trek trailer is definitely
21 years old is when you stopped enjoying new music.
Yeah, exactly. See, that's not true of me. I really do
I
try
know.
to stay and like, but it is true of a lot of people. Like
I know.
it is a thing that happens. But I try to be different because I am a musician. I try to keep it
Yeah.
fresh, but I still have this like that affection is within me where like
Yeah.
nothing will ever live up to the feelings that I had when my brain was still developing.
Yeah. I haven't listened to anything regularly except for Foo Fighters for the last like 6 years.
Oh gosh, I wish you could have come to that Foo Fighters show. Did I share your videos with you and stuff?
I don't know. You may have, but cell phone videos are never very good at concerts.
I know, but it was right before Taylor Hawkins died too.
Yeah,
It was like one of his last concerts.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense.
I definitely would have loved to have gone.
Yeah, I was really like out there, just wishing you were there with me. It was really good.
Yeah, I'm a huge Foo Fighters fan,
I know.
but yeah, I do try. I try to get into new music, and then I find that I've been listening to Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness for 2 months, and I'm like, shit.
Well, all that being said, I just love that song, so that immediately gave me a lot of credit to the trailer for me. Like just using
Yeah.
that song, I'm like, all right, you already got me. You've hooked me.
Absolutely.
And then it had some good stuff in there, some weird stuff. Why is Kirk saying he's from space?
Yeah, he only works in space. He's
That's
from
right.
Iowa.
He's from Iowa. Unless this is some different universe. You love to talk about it. You love the idea that this is some different alternate universe.
I like the idea that like Kirk is like this very like politician-y kind of guy sometimes where like yeah, Star Trek 4 because it behooves him, he's like, oh, I'm from Iowa, I only work in space.
Mhm.
And then like a young Kirk when faced with, why don't you know how a rotating door works, he's like, I'm from space.
Yeah, that line, I kind of hate that line
I do too.
because of the
But
canon.
I do kind of enjoy the shadow it casts upon Kirk a bit.
Yeah, if you want to interpret it that way, I guess that's funny.
Yeah.
But like, I don't like the canon break of it, but I also don't like it. Just it sounds like I forget. There's something recently. I think it might have been Star Trek, where someone's like, "It just feels so sci-fi," and he's like, "We live on a spaceship."
It's Firefly.
Was Firefly?
Yeah.
Oh, that feels like it was more recent than that. But I guess you're right.
No, he's like that was Wash saying something was really sci-fi. It seemed like something out of sci-fi.
Like
And,
the laser or
yeah,
something.
and then Zoe says we live on a spaceship, dear.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
hated that line a little bit too because it feels like people that live in space wouldn't reference it that way or like wouldn't be talking about it as science fiction. They'd have their own science fiction. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It would be like it's just a little weird.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way, but
I feel like once space travel has been a common thing
Yeah.
for like 500 years, like it's not going to
Maybe.
be like a weird sci-fi concept anymore.
yeah, probably not. Um, I know I have literally like been talking to people who were saying something seemed really far fetched in sci-fi, and I'm like, our phones talk to satellites.
Well,
You
yeah,
know, like
yeah,
I've referenced my own reality as something that was very sci-fi, like looking
yeah,
back at like
for sure. That's possible.
old Asimov novels or something.
Right, right, for sure. But it's different when it's still kind of new.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That like our phones are only like 13 years that was since the first smartphone. You know, it's like still kind of this new technology.
yeah. Oh my God, I was cleaning out papers, doing some spring cleaning, quote unquote. I have papers from like 2003. I was like throwing away like freaking Bell South mail begging me to get long distance, and that was just in filing cabinets, and my T-Mobile begging me like upgrade to this $129.99 flip phone with color pictures,
yeah,
and I was like, oh my God,
it's
I'm
pretty
old.
amazing.
Anyway,
Yes, me and you both, buddy.
yeah, I was really excited to see the little court martial bell.
Okay.
And if you like pause it on the right screen, you can see that it's Una's. The pad next to it is referencing Una, so it's probably her court martial with her being
Yeah,
Illyrian.
yeah.
Um, I gotta say, I'm really bored of this little trope that new Star Trek is doing, where every captain's got everyone at the con has got to have a catchphrase to go.
I don't think it's like so they just decided to make it like a thing inside the universe
Yeah.
instead of it just being a thing that we talk about, you know?
Yeah, which was never really a thing anyway. When you look back at like Kirk, he never
Right. Since it's a since Picard thing.
yeah.
Picard had engaged, so everybody's had to have their own
I
thing.
don't think Cisco ever had to have a thing. Janeway didn't have
Well,
like a specific
They
thing.
didn't go anywhere.
In the Defiant.
Yeah, that's true. I don't remember what Cisco
He
said.
would be like, take her out. Ha!
Yeah, take her out was like a thing. But that's something that a lot of them say. Yeah, I don't know. It is definitely like it's a joke slash a thing they've referenced enough in canon. It's not so much that I'm tired of it; it's that it's happened more. It feels like one of those,
Yeah.
you know, those jokes on You ever see those jokes that said like, based on current modeling, by the year 2034, there will be 4,600 TV shows with Pedro Pascal carrying a young child across the country or whatever. Because it's like first you have the Mandalorian, then it's two,
Uh-huh.
and so based on the models of how
Right.
fast this is growing, if it doubles every year, like whatever that joke, like it feels like that's happening with that joke, where it's like
Yeah.
it was on one show, that's fine. There was again, and there was again, and this one feels really soon for it to
Yeah.
already be happening.
Yeah. Also, I don't care for this. I don't know. I feel stupid and petty, but I just miss like Regal Spock from the original series, and this just like
yeah.
super awkward Spock who's like, I want the ship to go now.
I don't know, man. Spock
I'm
always had
just,
an awkward element to him.
He did, but he wasn't like.
He was as young and as dumb.
I know. I'm trying to give him space, but it's annoying me a little bit.
I mean, he's from space.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm still not digging Paul Wesley as Kirk. I'm sorry. I know. I'm a dick.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't feel like Kirk at all to me. Like, and I was accepting of Chris Pine. I think Chris Pine really does a fantastic job.
Yeah, I agree.
All
I
things
think Chris
considered.
Pine's awesome.
Not feeling this guy still.
Yeah, it almost feels like he doesn't feel like he's doing impersonation, which
No.
is good. But he also doesn't really feel like he's trying to be Kirk at all. Like
Yeah.
it just kind of feels like another guy.
He still feels like Ty Burrell from Modern Family to me.
He has that guy's look for sure.
Even I'm from space.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Oh no. That's gonna be stuck in my head
He's
now
Phil
that you mentioned
Dunphy,
it.
man.
No, he's not Phil Dunphy. This is so funny that you mentioned Phil Dunphy.
Because he was in The Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, because he was in The Incredible Hulk. We
Yeah.
actually had a whole long talk about Phil Dunphy the other day.
Yeah.
That's funny. All podcasts roads lead to Phil Dunphy.
I mean, they kind of should in some ways.
Yeah, I agree.
I love my Phil
Welcome
Dunphy.
to the Dunphy Hour.
That there is no bad season of that show. My wife puts it on when she like wants to take a nap or whatever, and I'll just like I can't walk through and not be caught. I will sit there and watch like
caught up in it.
this is a good show.
Oh, yeah.
What else you got on Strange New Worlds trailer? Anything?
There was some sort of monster that I didn't. I was watching on my phone, so I didn't have a chance to freeze frame it. Did you see the like? It was like a little alien monster.
Yeah, I think it was a Gorn.
I figured it was probably a Gorn, but
Yeah.
it happened so fast I couldn't tell.
It looked like a Gorn.
Um,
Did you notice that the place that Kirk couldn't figure out how to get into was like 21st century boutique?
yes.
They're totally he and Una or not Una. What was her name? La'an totally went back in time.
Either that, or they're doing the classic like, look, we're on a planet, but it's this level of development thing.
Yeah. Well, there was some comment from a showrunner that they might be going back in time this season, so I assume that's what that's gonna be.
Yeah. Then that's very likely. Yeah, I definitely noticed that, and I definitely was like, it was. I don't know if that makes it more or less annoying because he's like, I'm from space. It's like, it's almost like referencing that line from the last time he was back in time where I just work in space. You know, it's like, you're back in time and you're saying the opposite thing. Like, come on, canon.
Yeah.
Be better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have much to say except it's really, really captivating visually. And when they start with the shot of that sun and then slowly pull out, and it looks like it's just gonna be a shot of the universe, but you see this very realistic Enterprise just sort of pulling around the moon or whatever. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. Really, the soundscape is great. Mostly enjoy. Like I feel like we've kind of shit on most of the character work they threw in there. But I still I like all of these people. I'm excited to see them all. We'll see how I feel about Kirk after things shake out a little bit.
I'm wondering if they're just gonna have him like hanging out with La'an and then like Pike is off doing his own thing and he never meets him. You know what I mean? Or if they're gonna like stick to that canon line or.
Well, I mean, you said it. We talked a lot about it last season, but like him inviting him on is definitely a canon break, as far as we can tell, if they meet.
Yeah.
So, is this the time where it splits off?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm okay with them splitting off.
Yeah, me too.
I just want them to acknowledge it.
Yeah, I want them to explain what's going on. Like, if this is a different universe, explain it. If it's not, fucking stick to the rules. You know what I mean?
That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want. All right. Let's see what else we got. We got some legacy updates.
Oh?
That change.org petition for legacy has reached over 38,000. It's nearing 38.5 thousand signatures as of today, the 28th of April. And by the way, that's surpassed the 2019 petition for Strange New Worlds.
Huh, okay.
And several days ago, Alex Kurtzman said, in response to Legacy, anything is possible. We've heard fans loud and clear. There's obviously more story to tell, so we'll see. So being somewhat non-committal, but I like the fact that he did address it to some degree. Do you want to hear more things that are going to piss you off that Terry Matalas said?
No, yeah. Tell me the things.
He responded to someone and said, because someone was complaining that Shelby went out like that, And he was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, Shelby's not dead. We just couldn't find time to put it in the finale."
Oh gosh.
And then they were like, well, "What about Ro? Is she still dead?" And he was like, "No, we were actually going to have a scene where we showed that Ro didn't die. That they beamed over just in time."
What?
And I was like, "That kind of just really sucks. I want
Yeah.
Ro to be dead because that was
Yeah,
a good
that's the kind of thing.
sacrifice."
That's one of those things where I don't listen to the producers. Like,
Yeah,
that's not what happened on the screen. Now, one day they could
yeah,
make that different. They
yeah,
could come back and like retcon it and be like, "Oh, she escaped at the last minute, and here's how."
yeah.
But until that happens on screen, I believe she's dead. They're
Right.
both. Well, a lot of people about Shelby were like, she could have survived that. She got hit twice, but who knows?"
Yeah,
But I would say that it's likely they're both dead.
yeah. Which, I mean, if Metalis comes back and does Legacy, I think he has said that they would be involved in some capacity somewhere. So
Weird.
yeah,
I hate that.
I do too. It really annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
It really annoys me. Like, I feel like if you show them presumably dead on screen, even if we don't see a body, shut the hell up
Yeah. Let the
and
people be
surprise
dead.
us on Legacy if you get to do it.
Yeah, for real.
That's my feeling on it. Don't undo Q. Just let Q die. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
okay with the legacy. I mean, not
Yeah.
legacy, the linear thing.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's fine, and I like
feels very Moffat-y.
It does, but I liked it as a cliffhanger of sorts.
Yeah,
So it did reveal he's still around and that this adventure will continue, and that's cool.
yeah. But you know what? For all the joy Terry Matalas gave us on Picard season 3, I'll give it to him.
Yeah, I'll give it
Whatever.
to him, but I do like this isn't the first thing he said that just like pisses me off that he's saying it. Like, stop talking. Stop talking. What was the other thing? He like spoiled something big for you.
I don't know. I don't even know
Oh
anymore.
yeah.
I don't
Oh,
even
that
know
no
anymore.
one would die.
Oh yeah,
What the hell? Why would you tell the fans that?
because there are literal fans, and I know you've known people like this. I have too. Who are just like, "Oh, is this or any of them gonna die?" Otherwise, if you don't tell me, I'm just not gonna watch it.
Well, those very small sliver of fans, I don't think it's very big,
Yeah,
can watch it afterwards when they find out.
yeah,
Don't go in the media and tell people who don't want to know.
yeah. I know.
I don't know. I
It's
appreciate you not
frustrating to
telling
me.
me that. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, like I try to pick and choose,
Yeah.
but
Because well, and that's the thing. You stay you actually read all this stuff and stay up on it.
yeah,
I mostly just watch the shows, and talk to you. So,
right. So,
all right.
all right. So one more thing before we get to feedback. The Roddenberry Archives. I don't know if anybody knows. Do you know what that is? The Roddenberry Archives.
No, sir.
Oh my God. Um, I am going to post a link in the show notes for anyone who
Mhm.
wants to. But the Okudas are working with this um Otoyo, something like that. Let me pull it up here. Sorry,
That's okay. Look it up all you need, Dave.
I will. All right, so they're working with this technology company, Otoy, on the Roddenberry Archive. For the last few years, they've been basically creating a digital archive of all of Star Trek. And the initial focus of the project was creating virtual recreations of the Star Trek ships, uh,
Okay.
specifically the Enterprise. And I mean, there was a guy like there are all sorts of little mini documentaries and stuff on this site, and this one guy is like recreating it, um, like the Enterprise A deck by deck.
Hmm.
But like they have this new free web portal that has a whole bunch of the iterations of bridges for all the enterprises across Star Trek history, and you could tour the different ships through the timeline, and expand into each bridge and see it. You get a 360-degree tour,
That's cool.
and they even have non-canon bridges. Like they created bridges that were just concept designs for versions of the Enterprise that never actually happened.
Wow.
But that's not all they've done. They also made this video that was called, I think, Recovery, and it's literally a video. It's very cinematic. It looks gorgeous of Starfleet recovering the saucer section from the Enterprise D,
Hmm.
and then we cut up to Kirk's grave, and frickin' Spock comes up in a hood, and it looks just like Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, cool.
Like they've used technology to like put like deep fake Nimoy like
Hmm.
picking up Kirk's comm badge and shit. Like, and they're doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Like they did a little mini documentary with like a sort of an extended interview with William Shatner, but he's like sitting. They've got like one of those like Star Wars screens
Uh-huh.
with one of the digital bridges, and it looks like Shatner sitting on the Enterprise bridge,
Huh.
like giving the interview. Like they have so much stuff on this site, and they even have stuff with Terry Metalis. By the way, those Enterprises, they have the Enterprise G on there.
Oh,
Include
neat.
it's updated. They got all the shits.
Very cool.
So yeah, I am really excited about it, and I think it's really cool. And
Can't believe we have an Enterprise G.
I know, man.
It's very exciting.
But yeah, you can even like see they even have like video like of a highly detailed Enterprise J from Enterprise.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. They put out a a video showing the different Enterprises, and it was narrated by John Delancey.
Neat.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on this site. It's very in depth, and they're just getting more and more so. So I'll put up the link because it's really cool to watch.
That's awesome.
Bum, 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 bum.
Well, I will definitely have to check it out. I'm not as much of a ship head as you are, but like I
Yeah.
still really enjoy the stuff. Man, sometimes I will like just listen to some YouTuber breaking down the different ships and like all their
Mhm.
features, you know? And it'll be like it had 16 decks and it was held this much crew complement. It's just like really like boring crew tech manual type
Yeah.
stuff. And I will listen to that not even looking at it. Like I'll like drive around or like I'll go to sleep at night listening to like weird tech manual
Yeah.
stuff. Like even though I'm not much of a ship head, I'll still do that sometimes.
Well, the one of the reasons I really love this is I am kind of a ship head, but also I love this
Yeah,
thing.
you are ship
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. I also love that they are able to do it in such a degree that it looks like Shatner is sitting on the bridge. Like, you know, that's like the Star Trek Picard production spent 4 months recreating the Enterprise D bridge,
Yeah.
and possibly we could have it now in the next couple of years where they could just interact with green screen and do this because it looks really good.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Anyway, let's move on to some feedback here.
Yeah.
Nerdy-tastic
Dirty.
over on Twitter says the finale was perfect. The whole season was what I always wanted from the previous seasons, and I thought they nailed the landing. I would gladly watch a spin-off show. I wish Dave's prediction that 1701D be renamed Legacy had happened.
That would have been really nice.
It would have been cool, but I get the, Jordy just restored it. They don't upgrade it and change it to Legacy now.
Why upgrade it? That's
I
the
know.
thing. What if it had ended with just like the Federation was Borg now? And like Legacy was about them like running around on the Enterprise D trying to like dodge a Borgified Federation.
What would have been cool is if like they couldn't have like gotten rid of the Borg in them, and like the Borg within humanity, like there for once there was more humanity than Borg, and they took over the collectiveness and like they learned to work as one somehow.
Yeah.
Like
I really loved
that
all
would have
the
been
like
interesting.
I wish they delved into it a little deeper, but I do love the stuff with Jack talking about how he's always been a guy who said like, why can't we all just work together? Why can't we all bond together and become
Mhm.
like, of one mind on something and do something well or whatever?
Yeah.
Like work together for the betterment of humanity. And then it's like, oh, that's because I was Borg this whole time. Like I loved that, man. It was so good.
Yep. All right, we got a couple of Apple things here. Apple reviews. Emissary
Hey.
55 gave us a 5-star. Oh,
Thank you,
What's
Emissary 55.
boom. Gave us a 5-star rating. Says, I have found my people.
Aww.
So my favorite Trek above all is DS9, and Dave and I bonded on Twitter through our shared love and told me about his show. He and Matt know their Trek. I have so many gaps and stuff I remember from all the Star Trek I've watched over the years, and can't always pull a factual memory on command, but these two dudes can. We can't.
Dave's a lot better than me. Dave is a lot better than me.
Um,
I have a much more spotty recall than you do.
he has Swiss cheese memory.
I do. We were talking about it on some show this week. I don't even know what show I'm on anymore, man. But we were talking about some show this week that like somebody was saying I have really good recall, and I was like, no. They were like, yeah, on the MCU cast, you guys always know your stuff like really well. I was like, no, like I'll remember that something happened, but I have no idea where or when or how. Like, and Jeff is always like right there on the spot, like with, oh, that was in scene 76 of this movie. Like he just knows exactly what's going on, and I like his recall is better than mine. I tend to think of everything I hear, everything I input from Star Trek, everything that goes through my brain when I'm watching an episode.
Yeah.
It's like building the universe in my head. And so I'll remember a thing like this person went to that college, but I don't know how I got there, right? Like I'll be like, this person went there. At least this person's from whatever. But I don't remember where I heard it. Yeah. And like you and Jeff are in the same way. Like y'all will both be like, oh, that's from Star Trek 4 or whatever. You know, when someone said this.
There's certain things like the movies I'm pretty good at, but a lot of times I find like as far as the TV show goes, like I will remember dialogue quicker than anything. But I'm very prone to remember it from the character I wish had said it, as opposed to who actually said it.
I will remember like a basic line of dialogue that's like kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said something like, he's not from space. I don't know. What was that? And you'll be like, he said, I only work in space. Like, right, that's the line.
Yeah. Sadly, the Star Trek quote I quote the most, which is probably, it's not even technically from Star Trek, it's from Futurama, where no fan has gone before. When Shatner and Leela are fighting, he takes off a boot and throws it at her, and she's like, "How?" And he just looks down sad and goes, "My foot is cold."
That's good. But thank you, emissary, for that. Like that, I found my people line. That means more to me than you could know. Like that's my favorite thing about podcasting is finding people that are, our people.
Absolutely. And he continues, I love the chemistry between the two, and the laughter really shows that they love what they're doing, and I'm here for it. I still think we should have seen a Cisco show well before Picard, but that's an argument for another day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him on Twitter the other day, and he was just like, they better give me Cisco. This is bullshit. I want Cisco or something. And I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry you're not enjoying the show. And he was like, oh, no, I'm enjoying it a lot. I just want Cisco.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got one from Empty Tuxedo on Apple here. The Next Generation, these guys do a great job discussing the show. It really feels like you're hanging out with a couple of close friends, having a good time, talking about a show that they obviously love and share a deep history with. There are other shows that are good at going into the technical minutia, some that delve into the philosophy of the show, others that go into the technical aspect of creating the show. All of them serve a purpose, but this particular show really makes you feel like you're having a beer and gushing over all the cool and weird moments in the episode.
Yeah. Good.
I guess that's good.
It is, absolutely. Thank you.
They gave us 5 stars.
Yeah.
It's good for them.
They meant it good. They meant it well.
They meant it good.
Exactly. That's, literally our show starts with where you get to listen in on 2 lifelong friends chat about Star Trek. Like, that's what we do. So I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the 5-star.
No. Yeah, I do appreciate it. And let's get over to some of our Picard stuff here. I'm so confused. Oh my gosh. All right. So, I'll see what happened. Tim Castillo.
Tim.
He sends us an email entitled All of the Good Things. Tim says, there's a lot of commentary with modern Trek that there should be more Star Wars in Trek, which I don't really agree with. I think Trek action and Star Wars action is and should be treated differently. But holy smokes, this literally had the Star Wars in the Star Trek, and I loved it. I was not expecting the Enterprise D to do the trench run through the Borg cube, but holy crap if that wasn't incredible and great, and I loved it so much. And they even tied it into a conundrum decision. Do we follow through and save the universe by sacrificing our people? Yes. The answer is yes. And then, of course, they rescued them using the Imazadi Force communication, since we know Riker is strong with the Beta Z Chlorians. Might be hand-wavy and very Luke and Leia, but it was great. All my favorite things, man. Look, if Deanna could use her empathic powers to find the guy who, basically mentally raped her Shinzon in Nemesis, she could definitely find Riker through the same means.
Yeah, for sure.
And I liked it because of that, because we had seen her do that because of a negative thing, but we hadn't seen her do that because of love.
Yeah.
So I dug that.
Absolutely.
Tim continues. When I was thinking of how they were going to defeat the Borg, part of me thought, please don't let it be we defeat you with love. And it kind of was, but they did it really well. It was against a Borg enemy that was acting from desperation and almost panic, which made the fight against them seem very reasonable, because a dying, desperate creature is incredibly dangerous, but also is not thinking clearly. That's most of my problem. It made a lot of sense.
You are a dying, desperate creature, after all.
I am. I'm ancient and weak. It made a lot of sense to me. With the Borg Queen, I took this as she was the Queen from First Contact, wading through time and barely surviving by using the drones to keep herself alive. Was that not the case? Well, the Queen, yes and no, because the Queen from First Contact
lost all her skin and had her neck broken.
And they literally had her in the Daystrom Institute, or the Daystrom.
Well, that was a different.
That was the
oh no,
the skull
they did
and the spine.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was thinking of the other season where they had her in that alternate timeline.
This would have been the Alice Krieg version of the Borg from Voyager's finale.
Okay.
Endgame.
Right. Yeah, this is the Endgame version, which they say.
But she has First Contact's Borg Queen's memory. Like, she is all, and,
Which is weird, because I don't think those Borg after, I guess, I was going to say I don't think they ever connected with the Borg after First Contact, but there were a couple that landed on the planet or something that, ended up sending out a message in Enterprise, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't make much sense. But if you'll recall, when in First Contact, when Picard saw her, he's like, "That's impossible. You were killed when we blew that Borg cube up or whatever." She's like, "I don't think so. Third dimensionally or whatever."
Right, in Best of Both Worlds.
Yeah, she was killed or she was on a ship that was blown up in Best of Both Worlds.
Yeah.
But she's still there. She's still around.
Right.
She's eternal.
The Borg can recreate her, I'm sure.
Yeah. So.
Which was funny, because that's exactly why everyone thought that Jurati Borg was before the show started, people were theorizing Jurati would be the Borg Queen because she looked enough like her.
Uh-huh.
And then that's exactly what they did, but didn't do it in the same way. We were all like, oh, she's back in time. She's going to be the Borg Queen, like that.
Yeah.
But then they ended up doing it, but not doing it. She's still the Borg Queen, but not that version.
Yeah, no, she's just an alternate version of the Borg Queen from an alternate time, alternate past or some
right,
shit.
But it's just strange
alternate
that
timeline.
So many people were able to call it purely based on Jurati's look.
Yeah.
And then it was true, but not in the way that
I'm not sure it was just her look. I think it was, this idea that, Picard and the Borg had this tie, and wouldn't it be amazing if somehow Picard grabbed somebody and took them back in time?
Sure.
And they turned out to be the origin point for the Borg Queen.
True. Well, that was second season though. People were saying it before the first season started.
She was also a professor of
cybernetics.
So,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, but she does kind of look. She has that look.
She does.
She does. That soulless ginger look.
Rude.
I mean, no. No, Matt.
Yeah.
How dare I say that?
How dare you say that?
take that back. What? um, who are we talking to? Tim. Tim.
Tim continues.
Tim continues. Let's see. I always took First Contact to have come after Voyager for some reason. It did not. Because time travel. I'm probably wrong. You are. I'm not looking up the details to correct myself right now. Yeah, in Voyager there was a whole scene where Seven was discussing the details of First Contact, of what happened. Tim continues, Tuvok and Seven together again was great. Would love to see more of the Voyager cast as well. I agree.
Yeah,
I love
for
seeing
sure.
those guys.
For sure. What's really neat about having Seven in this season is now she's sort of like really linked to the Next Generation crew in a way that she hadn't been before. I mean, she was in, season 2 or whatever, but like, or she was only in season 2. She wasn't in season 1, right? Of Picard?
Yeah, she was.
Where was she? Oh, yeah, she was.
She was a Fenris Ranger.
That's
she
right.
was running
That's
around.
where they go and get her. They meet her halfway through the season.
Killing people because they killed Icheb.
That's right, because the whole Borg cube thing was first season, and she does that whole thing with
the artifact.
The artifact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just interesting to see her like hanging out with the entirety crew of the Next Generation, and sort of like getting sort of inextricably linked to that crew now. Like they're all friends of hers now.
I mean, I know watching Voyager, I was just so annoyed that like the whole time that like the next gen people were too big and doing movies and whatnot, because I'm like, I need 7 of 9 and Picard to have a conversation at some point.
Yeah, for sure. And now we still haven't had that conversation.
Maybe. I mean, they've had something of that conversation.
Yeah. By the way, as we said, we're recording in the car, and for some reason there's a bunch of sirens passing.
Yeah.
So apologies.
Yeah. I mean, it's Homewood, Alabama. Homewood, Birmingham. So and we should have expected. Tim says, I would have loved to see Wesley show up at the end instead of Q, or even with Q. How crazy would that have been? Mentioning Guinan was fun, even if we didn't actually see her. Very small quibbles. At the beginning of this season, I was so worried this show would botch the ending. This was great, though. The story is done, and it came to a satisfying and complete conclusion that honored what led up to it, even if nothing else happened now. This was satisfying.
Yeah.
Still, let's hope Legacy gets going quickly, because, come on, of course I want more. It was fun. Tim Castillo. I love that he signed off, it was fun.
Yeah.
Kirk, man.
Yeah.
Oh, God, Kirk.
Yeah. I also just like can't help but think he's talking about how like even if we get nothing else, this was satisfying, but like no one died. They could easily they're talking about doing these movies every 2 years.
Yeah.
One of those in a few years could be another Next Generation joint.
And I think everybody on the cast has said they wanted to do it.
Yeah, what I'm hoping is that like this Legacy show, it's called Legacy for a reason, and we just get like a lot of cameos here and there, just people dropping in. You've got we've talked all about it, but like you've got 7 of 9 who's now knows all of them.
Yeah,
the captain. I don't know what Raffi ended up doing at the end.
She's the first officer.
That's right.
And they even want to play into like
it's like Raffi and Worf are tight.
Yeah. They want to play into like how it's not okay for Raffi and Seven to be in a relationship because they're commanding officer and XO, but
interesting.
Are they gonna like go against the rules? Do they have a secret romance?
That's funny. That's the plot of the Orville. They're like exes, and then they end up in a captain and first officer chair. And then over time they start to fall in love again, but they can't be together because they're first officer and captain. But you see all these connections. I mean, obviously Jack and his mother. I'm assuming Riker and Troy, now that they're done being like on a random pizza planet, they can like now that they're done hanging out in Toy Story, they can come and like just be on they could just be on another ship. I'm assuming maybe Riker will return to command,
You got a boy in the ground.
Oh no, no Dave, no.
You got a boy in the ground.
No Dave, it's too far. It's too far. Gosh. What the hell?
Just a synth would have saved his life. But them damn synths cause too much strife.
Okay.
Now you're having problems with your wife. You got a boy in the ground.
You're a terrible person.
Hey, how you doing?
You're a terrible person. Who's next? Who's next? Please.
I'm sorry. K. Williams 77 writes us, "Hi, fellas.
Okay.
I loved this episode and the whole season so very much. I understand some people's frustration that it was the Borg again, but I thought they did a good job giving them a new twist. And I really liked what Matt said about having his son become Borgified through no or not much anyway. He did go off half-cocked, real fault of his own, helping Picard finally forgive himself for Locutus. I loved Captain Shaw and had my riot gear all ready when he died. Todd Stashwick was on my other fandom show Supernatural as the monster in the episode Monster Movie and was absolutely fantastic in that. But Shaw was a whole other level. I have decided he is my favorite new Trek character. I love Strange New Worlds and everyone there, but most of those are new actors in old roles. So for genuinely new characters, he is my hands down favorite. I loved from the beginning that he did not share the reverence for our heroes. He was a snarky bitch, and I was here for every minute of it.
He was a snarky bitch.
I know Terry Matalas has supposedly thought of a way to get him into the legacy series. The easiest, I think, would be in old captain's logs that perhaps Seven turns to for guidance, or he could be the voice in her head as if he's haunting her. I also heard someone mention she apparently brought Neelix back with some nanites in Voyager. I really don't want him to have been a changeling at some point, so it was the imposter that died. I don't care for that idea. But we need the series to be greenlit first, and before we can theorize on how he might come back. Here's hoping. And while I assume many others have made this point to you by now, yes, that was actually Walter Koenig's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I saw a thing. Apparently, Terry Matalas watched the finale with his neighbor, Walter Koenig, and his neighbor and best friend, Todd Stashwick.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they watched all that together.
So Terry Matalas made 12 Monkeys, right?
Yes.
And Shaw was from there.
Yeah.
Dashwick.
It was the show 12 Monkeys, not the movie.
Yeah, no, I know. I know we were confused about that for a little while here on the show. You kept having to correct me, but I think like that was years ago. I've evolved. I think I'm gonna have to go watch 12 Monkeys.
Yeah,
now.
me too.
Like, I like Terry Matalas. I like his take on this. I like what he's done here.
Yeah.
But I also really like Todd Stashwick. I
Yeah.
don't know how much he's on that show, but I love him.
Yep. He continues. Also, I don't care very much, but I am mildly interested in what happened with poor Laris. They dropped that thread so hard. I don't think Picard ended up with Beverly, but I don't think he went off into retirement with Laris either. Here's hoping May goes by fast because I'm looking forward to season 2 of Strange New Worlds. Let's not be sad that it's over. Just be glad season 3 of Picard got to happen at all.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie.
For sure.
Actually, this might be a female, a lady.
I
don't know. I don't read these before.
Well, I know, but it's just funny that you even comment on it.
I feel bad.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you called her a he or anything.
I did.
Oh.
I said he continues several times.
Oh, maybe you did.
No,
Sorry about that. I don't know why, but I assumed when I don't know why I did, but I assumed it was a lady when you said K.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, and I knew you meant the letter K too. I
just saw Williams and I thought William.
Oh,
you know.
I heard K, and I was like, "There's just a lot more female names with the letter K."
Yeah,
just seems like maybe he's a Kev. Maybe it would be a Kevin.
Yeah,
but I can't think of any others. See,
moving on. Yeah, me either.
I don't know why, but I think that's what my brain did. My brain was like, K. Those are mostly lady names.
I was like, you're like Kevin, and I'm like, wait, I got one. Kevin. I do want to point out that Terry Metalis did say Laris is still like she was going to some planet to do a thing at the beginning of the show.
She's still standing at the port waiting on Picard.
She was never waiting on Picard. She went off, like Terry Metalis said, she's off being a badass on whatever planet.
Yeah,
And
sure.
he did say that they left it open.
No, I wasn't waiting by the phone. I had lots to do tonight.
Yeah. Metalis said that they purposefully left it a little bit open as to what was going on with Picard and Beverly. He said, you could not be romantically linked but still be a family unit.
Yeah.
And
they're co-parenting Jack.
Also, there was maybe a lot of the fans have started to be like, have started to insinuate that maybe Laris, Picard, and Beverly are a throuple now.
Oh no, guys!
Why? It's a Roddenberry future. Why can't they be?
Because they're.
What's wrong with a throuple, man?
They're his parents.
What?
Wait, Beverly and Laris?
Beverly,
Never
Laris,
mind.
and Jean-Luc.
I misheard you.
Oh, God.
I thought you said Beverly, Picard, and Jack. Because you were talking about.
Maybe I did now.
You were talking about them being a family
Did
unit.
I?
And then you were like.
Oh, my God.
And then you're like, maybe they're a throuple. I was like, what the hell?
No, I meant Laris. If I said it
you
wrong.
probably did. I just heard you say
I don't know.
the family unit. And then you were like, talking about that. Sorry.
So.
I got lost.
Carrie.
No,
William 77.
No room to check the tape.
Yeah. Writes back and says, sorry, but I wanted to share a few more thoughts. First, when Beverly said Starfleet was fast-tracking Jack, I thought of poor Wesley. I'm sure a long-time traveler Wesley would take it all in stride and be happy for his baby brother. But season 7 Wesley would have been Surly. He would have been Rod Serling. I saved the Enterprise how many times while he nearly Borgifies all of Starfleet, and he is the one who gets fast-tracked? This is some bullshit. And he'd be right.
You know what I did love about the fast tracking, though?
What?
I love that he walked onto the ship like the captain, and for a second, it seemed like they were doing the 2009 Star Trek thing where they're just like, hey, he's a Picard.
Yeah.
He's the captain now. I know he wasn't in Starfleet before, and I liked that they played with that idea. And then she's like, you're an ensign, move.
Yeah,
I love really good.
That.
Oh, I got it. Kelso.
That's the last name.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Never watched that show.
His first name was Michael. You're talking about that 70s show.
Yeah.
Michael Kelso.
Damn. Well, then my original point stands.
Well, his brother's name was Casey Kelso, but I think that was with a hard C.
A hard C?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. Moving on. I'll keep working on it. I'll keep working the problem. You read some feedback.
Yeah. Second, YouTube commentator Steve Shives, who can definitely veer toward the vitriolic at times, has called this season Terry Metalis' toy box, which is fair. But it turns out I really like watching Terry play with his toys. I'm here for it. Seeing him with the cast and photos at the IMAX finale, he looks like a giant dork, so he's clearly my people. You play with those toys all you want, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
The only real quibble with this season is this entire premise. Jesus. That took a turn.
The only real quibble is this thing shouldn't exist.
There is no way Beverly Crusher conceived Jack naturally without any help from Starfleet Medical.
Well, she is Starfleet Medical.
She is Starfleet Medical.
Yeah, she could. Yeah, it's the future.
Like in season 2, she was the head of Starfleet Medical. That's why Pulaski was there. Like, then she came back, and then she went back to the head of Starfleet Medical at the end of Nemesis.
We're both so defensive of
I know
Beverly Crusher's
Jesus,
like
God.
medical bona fides. I don't know. It's just really funny to me.
Yeah, well,
that we both got like really like up in arms.
Well, of course, but also it's like the 25th century.
Yeah.
If these ancient ladies want to bear children, they would probably be able to. I mean, they've cured all these illnesses, and most diseases on Earth have been eradicated. Apparently not children, but
yeah, that disease is still around.
That disease is still around. But,
and who knows? Never mind, that's stupid.
Yeah, they may have,
I was gonna say maybe she froze her eggs, but then I was like, that would be some real like weird subterfuge, because then she like had to have taken sperm and like fertilized it. It's never mind.
Yeah, that would be weird. All right, so Carrie continues. She had to be around 50 because Wesley was around 21 in season 7, and Jack had to have been conceived shortly after or before or after Nemesis if Beverly was gone for 20 years, and all of this is supposed to be about 35 years after encountering the Borg. The only headcanon I can accept is that she had been trying to have a baby with Picard, perhaps thinking that would help their relationship because that always works. And had been taking hormonal injections and whatnot, but then decided none of it was working medically or relationally. She gave up, and that's when whoops, baby happened. I think in Star Trek future, the women, even young women, would need more medical intervention to conceive and carry a baby, not less, especially when interspecies procreation starts occurring. Everything else in this season I can accept and have no problem with. Once again, Carrie.
I will say that, like, in this future, we already know that, like, people die of old age at like 130, 140. You
Yeah.
know, like, life expectancy is way longer. Now that's not to say that, you know, uh, people their childbearing years are extended, but it could mean that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we already have birth controls that just mean you don't drop an egg. So it's possible, like, there, women have a finite number of eggs, so it is
Yeah.
possible, like, at a certain age, you just out of eggs. But, like,
Right.
in the future, it's very possible they just, like, hold on to them until they want to, whatever.
Yeah, they just start giving them a hypo spray every couple of months or something to, hold off menopause.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I hear you. I hear you. It does seem like she would have had to been trying, because it is very rare. Although I've known,
Yeah.
I had an ex girlfriend who was 25,
Uh-huh.
and her parents, when they got married, the doctors told them they couldn't have kids.
Yeah.
That her mom had something wrong with her lady areas,
Oh.
her reproductive system. So she couldn't have kids.
Uh-huh.
And they waited like 5 or 6 years and didn't have kids, but they also didn't use birth control because, whatever.
Right.
And then she had a kid, my ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Then my ex-girlfriend grew up. And the doctor's like, it's a miracle. They they're very religious, and they fully believe like she's a miracle baby.
Uh-huh.
And then 25 years went by.
Uh-huh.
At this point, she's like in her 50s.
Uh-huh.
And then just had 2 more.
Holy shit.
2 more. Completely unexpectedly, one after the other, like 2 years apart.
That's nuts.
Yeah. And so, like, she had 2 sisters who were looked like her daughters,
Yeah.
It was wild.
That is crazy. Alrighty. So, let's move on to Andre Sparks. Hey guys, they totally got me in the last 10 minutes. So many ups and downs. The ship coming to beam them up at the last second was a pretty well crafted scene.
Yeah.
At the end, when they were doing the whole "What's your go?" saying going to be with Seven, I sort of figured they were going to pull an Avengers style cutaway. Any thoughts on what she will say? I couldn't remember if she ever brought it up on another series. No one did, because it wasn't a thing until New Trek. What are your thoughts on Jack's job title? Yeah, whatever. What was his job title?
He was the special assistant to the captain or something like that. Like special, not assistant. What's the?
Oh, he was a counselor. He was like he was sitting in the counselor's chair. And
Well,
they said something about that.
And she said special advisor to the captain.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to teach him a command, even though
Yeah.
he's just barely in Starfleet.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought like I was afraid they were gonna cut before Seven said her thing, but I thought he was gonna bookend it with her saying, "Let's see what's out there," which is what Picard said at the end of Farpoint.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would have been neat.
I know that wasn't the question, but I don't know.
What did Janeway say?
Nothing.
It wasn't a thing.
She said engage a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember if there was something that she said that was different.
You know what would have been fun?
What's that?
There's that GIF that's become popular of Seven over the years from Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been fun if what she said was, "Fun will now commence." That would have been fun.
Would have been good.
Andre continues. Lastly, has an ex ever been a first officer on a Star Trek show? Or are they still together? I know on the Orville that was a thing, but I was surprised here. I think we've already kind of covered this, but
yeah.
When someone said it was point of conflict, it would be a point of conflict. Terry Metalis' response was, "It worked for Kirk and Spock." So, I don't know if that works for you. It's not my preferred headcanon. Mostly because, like, there's too much about them being brothers. Especially in, like, Star Trek V, which I know a lot of people disregard as canon anyway. But when Kirk is, like, they're in the prison and they're talking about Cybok and shit, Kirk says, "I lost a brother once. I was lucky I got him back." And he's clearly talking about Spock.
Yeah.
And not his brother Sam, who died in the original series.
Yeah, didn't get him back.
Yeah, he didn't get him back.
That we know of.
Yeah. Well, he said, "I had a brother once." I'm like, "You dick, you had a brother twice." Anyway, lastly, that post-credit scene was great. They better announce something by Comic-Con. I heard Strange New Worlds comes out in June. Can't wait. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Andre.
All right. Well, I think we might need to pick up the rest of the feedback next time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think we should.
Why?
We're at an hour, and I have to get home and do a bunch of editing and go to bed before this next. That we got to be up early to do this job again.
We do.
We do indeed.
So we'll hold off the rest of it.
We got a few weeks between. So talking you guys' feedback will give us some things to talk about, and if you guys send stuff in between now and then, pick up some more stuff, and maybe you guys got some speculation about Strange New Worlds or whatever, man.
Yeah, send us more.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying all the interaction with you guys. It's been so much more fun to have you guys out there sending stuff in. And sorry we couldn't get to a few this week, but we got a few weeks. We got a few weeks.
Well, you got a lot done.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got through a lot. So send us some more though. We'll get it next week. And we'll be back soon, guys. Jolan True.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.